Hello and welcome to another reaction video with me, David, from Dave's Adventures. So, previously, back in reaction number 7 on reacting to Jack's Project Exodus construction series on his 7th video, where one of the objections from, is it Green Earth, part of an environmental group, withdrew their objections. Obviously the other group is the environmental agency, and it's all a bit, well, it's up in the air at the moment, so don't know what's happening with them. Hopefully either this video or next video we'll find out what's going on with the state of the new roller coaster codenamed Project Exodus. So let's go over to Jack's YouTube channel and check out the next construction update video. Let's go.
But we've had a reply from the council, finally. Yo, what is going on, guys? My name is Jack Silkstone and welcome to yet another Project Exodus construction update here at Thorpe Park. That's right, since I've been away in Florida, there has been a lot more news regarding Thorpe Park's.
Wow, so obviously I reckon Jack and his friends travelling over to Orlando, a place I've never been, would love to go. Well, both me and Caroline would love to go eventually. I can't see it being either this year, next year, down about 2025 possibly, but eventually, hopefully, we'll get to go over there at some point. So let's carry on with reacting to Jack's 8th construction update video.
Brand new roller coaster project, including new documents from both the environmental agency and their flooding issues and Thorpe Park, who are replying to them. And we also have our first response from the Runnymede Borough Council. So here I am down Monk's Walk. Oh boy, it's nice to be back. Now, the last time I was here, I of course discussed the possibility that Project Exodus could be discussed in a meeting within the planning department of the Runnymede Borough Council in early September. Now, I was a bit worried because that meeting was taking place whilst I was away in Florida. So if anything happened, I wouldn't have really been able to make a video. And I was like, oh no, it might get approved or maybe disapproved, and I won't be able to update you guys. But ultimately, nothing was actually discussed in regards to Project Exodus in that meeting, which still leaves us in a weird position in which we don't know if the council are going to agree with this project and let it go ahead or completely shut it down. However, as I said, I've got loads of exciting things to discuss right now. And of course, be sure to subscribe to the channel.
Hopefully things won't be shut down, but let's carry on. Yeah, like I said, Florida, Orlando, it's, well, for me and Caroline, it'll be, it's, well, another world.
If you haven't already, to keep up to date with all of the latest Project Exodus news. 1st of September, we got a new set of documents uploaded by the environmental agency, and within this new update we have some good and bad news. Oh my god, there are so many flies down here tonight.
Wow. Oh my god, yeah, what Jack said about the flies, they're like, I just noticed them, thinking, wow.
So the good news is that just like natural England, they've actually withdrawn one of their 3 objections that they originally had to this roller coaster. So yeah, obviously I made a video a few weeks back in which Natural England withdrew their objection. They said, you know what, we're actually very happy for this to go ahead now. Now, one of the things the environmental agency...
That's it, Natural England. I don't know what I was thinking, green. I don't know. Yeah, Natural England obviously withdrew their complaints in the last video update, so all good.
Agency had an issue with, they have also now said, actually, no, you're all good to go ahead on that aspect. However, there are still 2 other things that they're not happy with. Now, the first major objection that they have is the fact that if any part of this ride goes into this flood zone at 3B, then they're not going to be happy. And essentially, part of Project Exodus's supports are going to be in this flood zone 3B. And they basically said that the only way that you can overcome this objection is to basically demonstrate that this development is not within flood zone 3B. And unfortunately, the development is going to be in 3B. So to be honest, it's not looking good based off of this objection alone. However, as I said, there is another objection that they have, which is that there's not currently a suitable flood risk assessment in place. So if the park was to flood as a result of this roller coaster, they're saying that Thorpe Park aren't prepared enough for if this happens. So in order to satisfy this objection from them, they're saying that Thorpe Park need a more detailed flooding plan to show that they are adequately prepared for if a flood comes as a result of Project Exodus. But to put it short, with these 2 objections together, it's not looking good. By essentially updating their flood plan documents with even more information to hopefully satisfy what they've been asking for. However, they also have dug back into their archives for previous applications that they've done over the past decade, in which they have been granted planning permission to build within floodplains on the park. And essentially what they've been saying is, we were allowed to do all of this back then. For example, with the Swarm, some of that ride supports were going into a flood zone. However, they were granted planning permission. As you very well know, the ride got built, it got passed. So Thorpe Park are basically saying, well, hold on, what has changed in the past decade that has now stopped us from being able to do this and is now causing you to bring this up as an objection? Because there have been no policy changes from the local...
Hopefully, after the new hypercoaster is built, sorry, the cat's being a butthead. I've lost my train of thought. That was it, yeah. So, obviously this new roller coaster, hypercoaster, being built, if obviously in the distant future Thorpe Park builds another coaster somewhere on the island like no other, I wonder if they still have more major objections, or if it'd be like smooth sailing, like bang like that. I don't know. What do you think? Put it in the comments below. Like to obviously hear all your opinions.
Council, or even like on a government countrywide scale, that would suggest that this is no longer allowed. Nothing has changed, but we've had a reply from the council, finally. Response from the local council in regards to if they're slightly for or even against this project. We've been completely left in the dark. However, we now have a response from the Assistant Development Manager at the Runnymede Borough Council, who seems to be replying to the environmental agency. So yeah, unfortunately, it's not a response to the overall project. However, it is a very important response because, of course, the environmental agency are currently the only kind of department that aren't too happy with this project going ahead, and of course have those objections in place. The Assistant Development Manager says that if you could provide evidence to substantiate your objection in terms of any updated policy which may highlight why this approach to flood mitigation mitigation was acceptable in 2018 and is no longer acceptable, or provide evidence that you believe that this flood mitigation strategy has not been implemented. Because all evidence we have in front of us shows it has been implemented, and this is an agreed and accepted process to flood mitigation. So yeah, it seems from that email that the council are ever so slightly on Thorpe Park's side, which is so exciting. Basically, what this email is saying is it's agreeing with Thorpe Park. It seems like the latest time Thorpe Park would have applied for planning permission that involved kind of this flood mitigation strategy and stuff was back in 2018. I don't quite know what that project would have been. I need to research it a little bit more. However, yeah, they're siding with Thorpe Park. They're saying that back in 2018 and previous to that, everything was all good. We allowed all of these projects to happen, and so did you in regards to the environmental agency. So they're basically asking the environmental agency, what has changed since 2018 that is now causing you to object this? Everyone's a little bit confused with the environmental agency. Because at the end of the day, Thorpe Park is on an island, isn't it? It's surrounded by water. So of course, there's going to be flooding issues. Like, it's only natural. However, in the past, the council and Thorpe Park have always come to nice agreements in which they'll try and avoid it as much as possible. But at the end of the day, it's always going to be inevitable that whenever they're building, they'll in some way hit some kind of flooding issues. Because it's an island, it's surrounded by water. So yeah, they've always kind of lived in this happy medium where everyone's pretty happy. However, now, for some reason, the environmental agency aren't happy, and basically Thorpe Park and now the local council are wanting answers from the environmental agency. They want to know what.
Great news from Runnymede Borough Council, but yeah, like Jack said, is completely right. It is an island, it's surrounded by a lake. Obviously, doesn't help with rain in general, but obviously that's the way of the world, and yeah, it's just one of them things. But it's strange, really. I mean, Swarm got built. Didn't realise it was in flood zone 3B, but obviously it's up. It runs. It's fine. It's a good coaster. So yeah.
Why now has it changed? So fingers crossed they'll just allow it to happen. But yeah, on top of that, Thorpe Park today have uploaded even more information to their kind of flooding guidelines and flooding plans. So it just seems like they are bombarding the environmental agency with as much information and as much kind of scientific research as they possibly can to hopefully get this project across the line. But yeah, it's certainly looking very hopeful indeed that the local council seem to be siding with Thorpe Park over the environmental agency, so it's looking good. And yeah, that's where we are currently at in regards to Project Exodus. As always, I'll keep you guys updated with any news we have, so be sure to subscribe to be notified as soon as I upload future videos. And yeah, otherwise, thank you all so much for joining me from this gorgeous evening here at Thorpe Park. The sun looks so good behind the theme park right now. Look at that. What a beautiful evening. And yeah, as always, thank you so much for watching. My name's Jack Silkstone. Goodbye.
Thank you, Jack. Alright, so good news, obviously, with Runnymede Borough Council, the way they're siding with Thorpe Park with about concerning the future development of this new hypercoaster. So yeah, it's all looking positive, which that's what we like to see. So yeah, hope you enjoyed this particular reaction video of me giving my thoughts on Jack's number 8th Project Exodus construction video. If you did enjoy it, please do hit the thumbs up like button. It does really help. Like I said before, leave me a comment whether if future projects get developed on Thorpe Park, whether there's going to be, I don't know, objections again with planning permission or not. Obviously leave it in the comments section. Yeah, and lastly, if you haven't already, please do consider subscribing to my YouTube channel, Dave's Adventures. So yeah, until the next video upload, bye and see you soon. Bye everyone, take care.